Good morning. We're out here at Eagle Mountain Lake Park on, you guessed it, Eagle Mountain Lake. It's right by a FM off of FM 1220, so lots of traffic. It's up north of Saginaw a little bit. And when you first come out and park, there's a nice parking lot. There's a pavilion here with some signs that have information about the park, and even a sign that welcomes you and says, "Howdy." Let you know that you're welcome and you're here in Texas. There's a number of trails that you can walk along out here that are really nice. It's got some old farm type stuff that are out here, a little water tower, windmills, some buildings and stuff that are just like a little museum, historical museum stuff, really cool. Back in the back, right behind me, that little shed type thing, whatever. There's a map with all the trails. It's got several miles of trails that walk through the woods, along the lake. Good bit of wildlife. All of these signs here tell you all about the different wildlife that lives out around this area that you might have a chance of seeing, plus the plants and everything else. So really nice, well set up park. We've been here before. This is the first video out here, obviously. Very enjoyable. I think you'll like it, and I'll be checking back in as we move along. Well, we just got started. We hit the trails, and I wanted to see the quality of the trails. This is the main trail here, and as you can see, if you're out here for just hiking and walking and fitness and all that, it's very nice. Excellent quality. There's a little flock of cattle here just flew behind. I don't know if you can see them or not, but excellent trails. And up at the very beginning and also online, there are maps that'll show you where the trails go and also how far each of the trails are. So if you're curious how far you're walking, if you don't have an app that'll tell you, you can see that as well. Well, we've come a little ways down the trail. There's the main trail behind me. And then there's a little offshoot trail that I came up just because it's got a really nice view. If you're adventurous, you can see where that trail heads off down the hill. A little steep, take you off into the woods. And I don't know if you can tell it as well, but we're on the western side of the Metroplex. So gone are the pine trees and all of the evergreens, and now we've got pin oaks, mesquite, scrub brush, lots of prickly pear cactus. Next time we pass a little field of prickly pears with the cactus apples out, I'll get a little video so you can see those. But very nice walk so far. Haven't seen any animals yet, but we're also out a little bit later today than normal. Sun's, as you can tell, already up, so probably not going to see quite as many animals on the trail, but still a very nice walk. Well, the trail is taking a bit of a change here. There's Joe up the top. We've come down a bit of a hill, and because it's a hill, it's kind of eroded and worn a little more, so a little more adventurous. And as you can see, the trail heads off around into the woods behind me. Of course, the fun to think about is try not to fall. When you come down these on the return trip, you get to go back up them again. Something to look forward to. Well, on the last little clip, I mentioned that when you go down one, you get to go back up. Well, there's the bend where I was just standing. We just came around the corner and didn't go very far at all. And then right behind me, we get to go back up again, just like I was saying. So gone from a very smooth, pleasant trail to a bit more adventurous. Really pretty out here, though. Very nice. Well, we've come a little ways down, and trail kind of opened up, as you can see behind me. It's a little cross trail here, and then like most of the parks anymore, we've got these 911 signs. So if you should have an emergency out here, you can tell them where you're at. And also further down the trail, there's a little shaded area with the picnic bench, our bench where you can sit and rest. So very nice so far. Haven't seen much animals, but then we're out later today than we normally are. We're after sunrise by a little bit, so, but still very enjoyable for a hike, a walk, relaxing just to get away. It's been very nice so far. Well, we've come a little further, came up a hill. Don't know, there he is. My first thought was Bigfoot hiding in the trees, but actually it's, I don't know if you look up the legend of Goat Man on Eagle Mountain Lake, that's probably what that's supposed to represent, is Goat Man. Just a little something fun out here. And according to the little rock on the ground behind me, we've gone 1 mile. Very beautiful so far. Still not many animals, but again, I say we're out later in the day, and still getting a very nice, beautiful walk out here. Very, very pretty. Beautiful day so far. Well, we've come a little further, and we've come to where one trail breaks off from another. And the nice thing is, whenever you get a intersection of trails or something changes, we've got these nice little signs you can see behind me with a map. It has an arrow letting you know where you're at, and then the trails are all color coded. We're going to go off down this trail here, which is a loop. It's a yellow loop. If you look at the map, I'll take a picture and put it on the video, and that takes us down by the lake. Well, we've come probably well over 1.5 miles by now, I'm not sure, and we finally made it down to the lake. This is one of the fingers coming off the main body of the lake, shooting off behind me. I've been told by some of the people we passed that there's a lot of deer activity up ahead, so we'll find out when we get up there. But right now, I'm just pausing to enjoy the view, looking across the lake there. And a very nice walk so far. Very, very pleasant. If you're looking for fitness or for exercise, this is a good place. It's got a lot of elevation changes, ups and downs, and turns and twists, and beautiful scenery while you're going through it all. Very enjoyable. Well, we made it around the trail further. See the trail going off that way, that way. Saw some deer, a couple of does, a fawn, and a young buck up in the woods. I managed to sneak up close and try to get a few photos. We'll see how they turn out. We've got a nice little bench, and the cool thing about this bench is you can sit and get a really nice view out across the lake. You can see a tree. Step over. It's been a little bit, but erosion wore away and it collapsed and fell into the lake and died a while back. But you know, as you're walking around, it's got several benches that can stop, or where you can stop and sit. But this one gives you a really nice view. Well, we made it around to the end of the yellow loop, came down to the lake, and I don't know if you can see him behind me. Right there, oops, there he goes. He's an armadillo, a 9-banded armadillo. Been watching him, or her, I don't know. Getting hung up in the trees here. Sorry about the jerky video, I lost it. I was watching it root around, looking for grubs and worms and stuff in the dirt that they eat digging. They're a little shy, so it wouldn't let me get too close, but we're right down on the lake. We've gone a little over 2 miles so far. Now we're about to where the yellow trail meets up on the far end of the red. Turn and start making our way back and see what else we can see. We've seen about 8 deer, a couple of bucks, some does, a couple of fawns. One of the bucks was a little crippled, was interesting. His front leg was apparently injured, so hopefully he'll be okay. Hard to say, but that's, you know, that's all part of life and nature. Things happen. We'll keep going. Well, we've continued on around. We're on the shore trail, is what it's called on the map. It's kind of a yellowish orange. There's a bright yellow, and then there's one that's a yellow orange, and that's the one we're on. I was tracking some deer through the woods, and what we've discovered is they've got a couple of these out here. Came across one other pole behind me, a hitching rail. So if you're out here riding horses, you want to take a break, they have a couple of these scattered throughout the park where you can stop, tie your horse up to the hitch, to the post there, and get off and walk around, stretch your legs, take a break, whatever. But you can see the woods behind me. I was back up in there a little bit, go deeper, back up in there, and I was tracking 4 deer. There was a buck, 2 does, and a young fawn. It was one of the same family groups we saw earlier with the buck that was limping a little bit. He was young. I got within about 35 feet of him, but the trees were so dense at that point that I couldn't get a photo or a video. I was hoping to get a video. I'll try again if I see them. But if you come out here and you're walking the trail, don't forget to look up into these trees, especially when it kind of opens up like this, because this is where you'll see deer, armadillo, squirrels, other animals hiding or moving or whatever as they wander around out in the woods. So keep your eyes open, look around. It makes for a very enjoyable experience, just, you know, commune with nature and see critters out in their natural habitat instead of in a zoo or on a magazine or something. Well, we finished the shore trail, which is the yellow-orange one I was mentioned earlier. We're now on the South Overlook Trail, which is green, and we've come around. There's a nice overlook behind me where you can see the lake and the bench. Up in the trees here, there's a picnic table. And then I mentioned earlier us being out west and all of the prickly pears. There they are all. I'm in a big patch of them, and I'm not sure how good you can see it in the video. They're covered. There's more back up there. And the bright red fruit, which is the cactus apple, edible. If you're ever lost in the desert and you need water, cactus or cacti are a very good source of water. A lot of people cook and eat with them, and use them in recipes. You can find cactus prickly pear flavored drinks and foods and stuff. They're a staple in some cultures, but they're a great source of water if you ever absolutely need to, and also nutrition as well. And if you're out west, we're up northwest of Fort Worth, you will see a lot of them. Here I've left where I was standing back over there a minute ago where the picnic table is. Here's the bench, and then the view from that bench is a really lovely view out across the lake and down somewhere back off in those trees way down there is the trail we came around earlier. Now we're up higher where we get a nice view across the lake. Well, here we are back at the pavilion where we started. Quite the adventure today. This one, a good long walk. We were just under 5.5 miles, a couple minutes shy of 4 hours total time out there. So quite the adventure today. Should be interesting. I'll get home and I'll get the videos and get it all posted up for you guys, put links and information, and I'll see you a little bit when I get home.